The rain hammered against the windows of Crestwood Mansion, a relentless percussion that mirrored the pounding in Harding's head. He's been summoned by Lila Monroe ostensibly to discuss the ongoing investigation into her late husband's affairs. The air was thick with the scent of lilies and despair, clinging to the heavy silk draperies and saturating the opulent surroundings. Edward Blackwood stood near the fireplace, his presence radiating a quiet, watchful intensity. "Mr. Harding," Lila said, her voice a fragile tremor, "I appreciate you coming, but I must reiterate my concerns." "Your concerns, Mrs. Monroe, seem to shift with the wind," Harding retorted, his tone clipped. He glanced at Blackwood, noting the slight, almost imperceptible tightening of his jaw. "What exactly are you afraid of?" "I'm afraid for your safety, Mr. Harding," she insisted, the words sounding rehearsed. "This case it's attracting unwanted attention." "And who might that be?" Harding pressed, his eyes narrowed. He's already piecing together the fractured narrative, seeing the subtle inconsistencies, the unspoken truths lurking beneath the surface. Blackwood stepped forward, his voice smooth and condescending. "Mr. Harding, perhaps you should consider that some questions are best left unasked." Harding ignored him, focusing on Lila's evasiveness. "The shipment of textiles, Mrs. Monroe. Mr. DeMarco assures me it was legitimate, but I have reason to believe it concealed something else." Lila's fingers tightened around the silver handkerchief. "Sal is a reliable source, Mr. Harding. You're letting your paranoia cloud your judgment." "Paranoia is a useful tool for a detective, Mrs. Monroe," Harding replied, his gaze unwavering. "It keeps you alive." He shifted his weight, feeling the familiar ache in his ribs. "And right now I'm feeling very uneasy." He's been poking around Mr. DeMarco's accounts, finding a series of payments routed through offshore accounts. Small sums, but frequent, all linked to a name he recognized, Vivienne Dubois, a woman who moved in the same circles as the collector, Jean-Luc Moreau. "Vivienne Dubois," Harding said, more a statement than a question. Lila's face paled further. "I barely know the woman, Mr. Harding," she mumbled. Harding pulled out a photograph from his coat pocket. It was old, faded, but the resemblance was striking. A young woman, elegant and defiant, with eyes that mirrored Vivienne Dubois'. "Recognize her, Mrs. Monroe?" Lila's hand flew to her mouth, stifling a gasp. Where did you get that?" "It surfaced during my inquiries into your husband's past," Harding replied, his voice soft but firm. "Arthur Monroe had a complicated life, Mrs. Monroe, a life you seem determined to keep buried." Blackwood's eyes flashed with anger. "This is harassment, Mr. Harding. I suggest you leave immediately." "I'm not leaving until I understand why a photograph of a young woman who looks remarkably like Vivienne Dubois was found tucked away in your late husband's safe," Harding insisted. "And I'm not leaving until I understand what connection Arthur Monroe had with Jean-Luc Moreau." Suddenly, a flicker of movement caught Harding's eye. Bruno, Lila's enforcer, stood silently in the doorway, his face impassive. He's a shadow, a silent guardian, and Harding knows that he's the one keeping Lila's secret safe. "I'm warning you, Mr. Harding," Lila said, her voice laced with desperation. "Leave this alone, for your own good." "And what if I don't?" Harding challenged, his gaze locked on hers. A chilling smile touched Lila's lips. "Then you'll find yourself wishing you had." Harding turned to leave, the rain outside seeming to intensify. As he reached the door, he heard Blackwood's voice, low and menacing. "You're playing a dangerous game, detective." Harding didn't respond. He stepped out into the storm, the wind and rain lashing at his face. He knew that he was being watched, that he was walking into a trap, but he also knew that he couldn't stop now. The truth was out there, hidden beneath layers of lies and secrets. And he, Mr. Harding, was going to find it, no matter the cost. He hailed a cab and instructed the driver to take him to Isabelle Moreau's bookstore in Lincoln Park. He needed to talk to her, to understand her connection to Lila Monroe and Jean-Luc Moreau. He felt that she held a piece of the puzzle, a crucial clue that could unlock the truth. The bookstore was quiet and dimly lit, the air thick with the scent of old paper and leather. Isabelle Moreau looked older than he remembered, her face etched with weariness and regret. "Mr. Harding," she said, her voice soft and hesitant. "What brings you here?" "I need your help, Isabelle," Harding replied, cutting straight to the point. "I'm investigating a matter involving Lila Monroe and Jean-Luc Moreau." Isabelle's eyes widened slightly. "I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't play coy with me, Isabelle," Harding said, his voice hardening. "You and Lila Monroe have a shared past. A past that involves Jean-Luc Moreau and stolen antiquities." Isabelle sighed, a weary sound. "I made mistakes, Mr. Harding. We all do. I'm trying to leave that life behind." But you can't ignore it, Isabelle, Harding insisted. Lila Monroe is involved in something dangerous, something that could have far-reaching consequences. The Amulet of Thoth, Isabelle whispered, her voice barely audible. She's looking for the Amulet of Thoth. What do you know about it? Harding asked, his heart pounding in his chest. It's more than just an artifact, Mr. Harding, Isabelle replied, her eyes filled with a strange mixture of fear and fascination. It's a key to something powerful. Powerful in what way? I don't know all the details, Mr. Harding, she admitted. Jean-Luc Moreau never told me everything, but I know that it's connected to something ancient, something dangerous. Lila Monroe, Harding began. Why is she looking for it? She believes it will give her power, Isabelle said. Power to control her destiny, power to avenge her husband's death. And what about Edward Blackwood? Harding pressed. Edward is a pawn, Isabelle said, with a dismissive wave of her hand. Jean-Luc Moreau controls him, always has. Harding's gaze drifted to the window. Across the street, he saw a building with a discreet sign, Cairo Imports. A new detail. Cairo Imports, he murmured, more to himself than to Isabelle. What is it? Isabelle asked, concerned. It's where she's going, Harding said, his voice filled with grim certainty. Lila Monroe is going to Cairo Imports.